Global commodity trading runs on structure, teamwork, relationships, and trust. At Alkagesta, the people behind every operation, every partnership, every delivery are what make the difference. Anthony Guida, Biofuels Trading Desk Lead at Alkagesta Geneva, tells you how. This is the Alkagesta Way.
Alkagesta is already trading commodities which are intersecting road, aviation, and maritime transport. The interest and the opportunity, what we see is growing demand for biofuels, growing interest and attention to ESG and sustainability agendas. So we feel in Alkagesta, given our regional presence and our experience in handling commodities, that we would be able to add value and contribute to this market. Biofuels is a new commodity for Alkagesta. Starting a new desk and a new commodity means being aware of which business departments the trading of the commodity touches. So that means operations, trade finance, legal. We're using different modes of transport to carry the goods. We're trading off of different general terms and conditions. We might be operating in different legal jurisdictions. The size of the counterparts that we deal with are significantly different. So all of these have risks that need to be assessed and managed. So used cooking oil is one of the building blocks of biofuels industry for various transportation groups. So we said road, maritime, aviation. It's one of the most common feedstocks that are used to make biodiesel, and it's also the closest towards the concept of circular economy. So we are recycling a product which has been imported, consumed, and then by turning it into biodiesel, we give this a second life. The Persian Gulf disruptions have definitely impacted the biofuels market. What we hear is a lot of talk about biofuel demand. Intrinsically, biofuel demand is on an upward trend, and the disruptions in the Persian Gulf are accelerating this. We see from a price perspective compared to their fossil equivalent that biofuel premiums have diminished, and this makes it more attractive from a cost basis compared again to a fossil diesel equivalent. One of the peculiarities of international biodiesel trading is that we have a lot of smaller tier market players. These are actors which are very far from the world of commodity trading, closer to either the world of waste collection or just entrepreneurs that see value in capturing something that previously went into waste or waste disposal. And as Alkagesta, we engage with a lot of these smaller players. They play a vital role in our origination strategy and play a strong role in our overall biofuel portfolio. So we are definitely interested to connect, and what we bring is fair pricing environments. What we bring is standardization. What we bring is first-class operational experience to their operations, and our interest and idea of working with these smaller two players is also to help contribute towards their business. So in doing that, we are unlocking a commodity which directly contributes towards the sustainability agenda of the European Union, and B, what we do is improve the environment of their local context. So we contribute to greater efficiency, greater waste collection, and generally we see this as having a positive impact in the local context in which they operate.
Understanding the market is the starting point. Origination is where it becomes real, one relationship, one long-term commitment at a time.
Origination has two parts. One is counterparty outreach, business development, introductions, understanding of business overlap and opportunities, and the other is an assessment on their ability to perform. There are many operators in the biofuel markets. The entry requirements to this industry are relatively low, depending on the scale that you operate in. And I'd say the second element of origination is really an assessment of how to transpose their requirements into a standardized protocol for trading. At the heart of new counterparty selection is firstly something very simple. a mutual business interest, so a shared business interest. Either we have interest for a commodity that they are selling, or we have ability to improve and add value to their existing operations. Having said that, the second phase is to understand the dynamics of their operation and to understand the mechanics of working with the commodity, working with the counterpart, and working with the region in which we need to be present. And then thirdly, the counterparty itself. How can we rely on this counterparty to agree on the terms that were negotiated, to perform, to be present and available in the event of disruptions? And is the opportunity short-sighted? Is it a one-off deal? Or do we have roots for longer-term cooperation? Obviously, the latter is of most importance for Alkagesta, as we are not rooted in short-term optimism, but looking more at long-term opportunity. KYC, of course, is at the heart of every new business transaction. There is no product which is purchased or moved without having a counterparty which passes successfully the Alkagesta screening and onboarding process. So this is, of course, the first step before any commercial and contractual agreement. The 5-year offtake agreement is the result of on-site assessments, experience with the counterparts that we're trading. It's not something that's done on a first trade. It's the result of a long period of working together, knowing each other on a personal level. It's having experience in operations. And the agreement is testament to reciprocal trust, both that Alkagesta have in the counterpart and that the counterpart has in Alkagesta. Now, the purpose of these volumes will then go to support Alkagesta's Biofuels desk, as these will be recurring flows that we can then help deploy within the wider European biofuel landscape. These feedstocks will then be used to produce aviation fuel, transportation fuel, and maritime fuels.
Building the right relationships requires the right credentials. Alkagesta secured the certification needed to trade internationally, ensuring full compliance across every transaction. The infrastructure followed.
Firstly, Alkagesta is registered to trade in different sustainability jurisdictions. These include ICC, INS, we have Nabizi, we have Corsia, and by having these compliance certifications, this allows us to trade in multiple jurisdictions. We are compliant with the requirements of each member state sustainability legislation. Alkagesta, in order to be compliant, is audited several times a year. We are regularly audited against the sustainability criteria of the different member state sustainability jurisdictions. Having a storage in Antwerp puts us on another level. It allows us to take more control of the commodity, to have greater ownership of how it's sold, under what circumstances. Storage is one of the strongest commercial tools that the company can use to take ownership of the commodity. What it does is help bridge the gap between export and import markets. By importing the product, we're able to control quality, we're able to tailor to the requirements of our end users, and we are also able to control the way it's dispatched to the local market. So we're able to ensure timely deliveries. We're able to make sure the quality is always as per the conditions required by the buyer or compliant with local regulation. A recent development within Alkagesta is that we have secured access to NATO pipeline infrastructure, and this allows us to deliver jet fuel blended with sustainable aviation fuel directly to the airlines. So this is a strategic asset that will allow us to develop both fossil and the biofuel side of the business. But most importantly, it's a testament that Alkagesta is a reliable and trustworthy business partner, as access to this is only granted through a rigorous screening process. And it shows that we are compliant with the requirements of this pipeline.
Infrastructure gives Alkagesta the tools. Relationships give those tools meaning. Because behind every storage facility, every pipeline, every certification, there is a person who built the trust to make it possible.
Travel is a large part of the role, meeting people in person to understand, to have human touch. Being on the ground allows you to make a realistic assessment that you can then measure based on your experience and understand if something will be realistic or not. The trader is definitely the first line of defense. The compliance checklist, the KYC checklist, is of course a fundamental part of counterparty screening and counterparty onboarding. But what really counts is also gut feeling, personal impression, and again, we were talking about experience, knowing based on experience if this counterpart is actually a right person, somebody who is likely to succeed, or somebody who will be honest in communication and generally honest in how the deal performs.
Strong relationships are built on presence, trust, and long-term commitment. At Alkagesta, this is how business gets done.
Alkagesta is a people company. We're very close to the source. We're very close to the individuals. So we pride our business in being that of relationships that are driven in long-term optimism. And this is what sets us apart. We are a company that is making business by being present, being available, being reachable, and we don't differentiate between larger players or smaller players. Within 1 year, we've been able to achieve a lot. We've signed a multi-year storage agreement. We've signed a multiple-year offtake agreement for used cooking oil in different countries. We've imported, exported between Europe, Africa, Asia. We've traded vessels, we've traded trucks, and generally this is a testament to how flexible the company can be, how reactive we can be. I think within just 1 year, Alkagesta is now a recognized brand name, and this is something we can definitely carry forward in the next year and the years to come. So looking ahead to 2026, the focus will be expanding the product range and continuing to build on what Alkagesta has already put in place, while keeping the same standards in execution, risk management, and how we deal with our partners.
This is what performance looks like from the inside. Expertise, execution, strong relationships, and a reputation built to last. This is the Alkagesta Way.